I would like to welcome everyone to the 2016 Order of New Brunswick Investiture Ceremony. My name is Judy Wagner, and I am a member of the Order of New Brunswick Advisory Council and Clerk of the Executive Council and Head of the Public Service. I have the distinct pleasure of being your Master of Ceremonies for today's special event in this beautiful historic building, honoring our distinguished appointees to the Order of New Brunswick. L'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick est la plus haute distinction honorifique de la province et aujourd'hui, nous honorons les 10 récipiendaires 2016 qui ont contribué d'une façon exceptionnelle au bien-être culturel, social ou économique du Nouveau-Brunswick et de ses résidents. I will now call upon the Lieutenant Governor and the Chancellor of the Order of New Brunswick, Her Honor, the Honorable Jocelyn Roy Villaneau, to address this year's appointees of the Order of New Brunswick.
Merci, Madame Wagner. Chief Justice David Smith, Chair of the Advisory Committee, Monsieur le Premier Ministre Galland, members of Cabinet, members of the Legislative Assembly, membres de l'Assemblée législative, distinguished recipients, distingués récipiendaires, proud families and friends, chers parents et amis. Le Premier ministre Brian Galland et moi-même sommes enchantés de vous souhaiter la bienvenue à la résidence du gouverneur aujourd'hui pour cette cérémonie prestigieuse. It is a delight to welcome each of you here to Government House on traditional Malisi territory on such a wonderful day for such a splendid occasion. There is magic in this room. Maybe it is because of 188 years of history here. Perhaps it is because Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, Queen of Canada, is here watching over us. S'il y a comme de la magie dans l'air aujourd'hui, c'est peut-être parce qu'on est ici à l'endroit cérémonial par excellence pour tous les Néo-Brunswickois et les Néo-Brunswickoises. Perhaps it is because of the 8 of you who have done so much for this province and for the people who live here. But there is magic in this room. I want to acknowledge that not all of these here recipients are here with us. Dr. Sheldon Rubin is here. Deborah Lyons is with His Excellency the Governor General, but her family is here, and I want to say welcome to them. Abraham Gessner died more than 150 years ago. Malheureusement, Monsieur Gérard Friolet est décédé il y a seulement quelques semaines. I must also mention the passing yesterday of Dr. Dan O'Brien, member of the Order and former president of the St. Thomas University. Vous êtes 10 hommes et femmes qui ont aidé à former notre province grâce à vos contributions dans le domaine des arts, de la science, de la culture, de l'éducation ou du monde des affaires. Et tout ceci pour l'amour de cette province, de notre province. You all have had such different journeys. Anglophone, francophone, First Nations, different backgrounds, different lives, different stories. Yet you share some common traits. Oui, en effet, vous partagez des choses telles que la générosité, la créativité, la vision, l'innovation, la passion, l'humanité. You also share a common belief, a belief in New Brunswick, in its history and in its future. We are a bilingual New Brunswick. We are a multicultural New Brunswick, but we are one New Brunswick. En effet, nous sommes une province bilingue et multiculturelle, mais nous sommes toujours un Nouveau-Brunswick. You each have your own stories. Yes, combined, they help to tell the New Brunswick story. Vous avez chacune apporté un élément significatif dans la construction de l'histoire du Nouveau-Brunswick. And I know, like me, like the Premier, you each refuse to believe that we live in a have-not or second-rate province, despite what others try telling us. There is a passion in your hearts about this place, about its people. Vous partagez tous un rêve commun, celui de faire du Nouveau-Brunswick un meilleur endroit. Il est temps de partager, de diffuser vos rêves, vos histoires positives. Il est temps d'arrêter de donner trop de voix aux histoires négatives. I see a group with tremendous experiences, a wealth of life choices, and with amazing stories to tell. But I also see potential. This highest honor is not the end of the journey. It is part of the journey. You each have so much more to share, to teach, to mentor. Pablo Picasso said, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." Je vous invite à continuer de donner, d'aider, de créer et de rêver. Nous vous remercions pour vos contributions, pour vos cadeaux de vie. Cependant, nous aurons encore et toujours besoin de votre aide, de vos conseils, de vos rêves. As we approach Canada's 150th anniversary next year, I will be asking New Brunswickers what gifts they can give to our province, the place where it all started, back in 1604 with the first European settlers, and even earlier with our indigenous peoples. And so I make that request of you to lead the way, because you have spent your lives doing that. You have done what was right, not what was easy. Il y a une grande différence entre faire ce qui est juste au lieu de seulement ce qui est facile. Tout comme il y a une différence entre la province que nous avons et la province que nous voulons. And perhaps that is the one other common trait shared by all 10 recipients this year, one not quite so clear, one which is more difficult to define. And this is where I need your help, because I am dying to know more about this undefined characteristic you share. It is something which pushes each of you further, makes you want to do more, makes you more charitable, more compassionate, maybe more stubborn. Je ne sais pas ce que c'est, mais nous en bénéficions tous et toutes. Perhaps that is the magic I feel here today, that special trait, a gift to the rest of us. À titre de 31e lieutenant-gouverneur, c'est pour moi un privilège et un honneur de reconnaître les efforts et les accomplissements des récipiendaires rassemblés ici aujourd'hui. En tant que néo-brunswickois, je me sens très humble en votre compagnie. Being a New Brunswicker is who we are. It is our identity. It is what makes us unique. It is the foundation from which we develop those ideas and dreams. You make this province a better place, a place where we listen to each other's stories, sing each other's songs, a place where we cheer each other's victories and mourn each other's losses. On behalf of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada, I offer my heartfelt congratulations to each of you, to your families and friends gathered here. Nous habitons une province, un lieu où nous sommes tous unis dans la recherche d'un bonheur commun. Et vous faites partie de ceux et celles qui bâtissez ce lieu commun, un rêve, un projet à la fois. It is not only our pleasure to honor you. It is our duty as New Brunswickers to do so. Merci beaucoup. Félicitations. Congratulations.
Je vous remercie, Votre Honneur. Thank you, Your Honor. We will now proceed to the presentation of medals to this year's distinguished appointees. Alors, sans plus tarder, nous procéderons à la remise des médailles aux récipiendaires de l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick. Citations for each recipient will be read in the language of their choice. I now call upon Kenneth Barlow to come forward to be invested with the Order of New Brunswick. Chief Kenneth Barlow has spent his career raising awareness of the Mi'kmaq culture and heritage and promoting economic development on Indian Island. After 17 years serving as Councillor of Indian Island, Chief Barlow was elected as Chief of the Indian Island First Nation in 2007. During his time as councillor, he was primarily self-employed in the forestry and fishery sectors. He did not hold a paid position with the band, so that other band members could have full-time employment. Shortly after being elected as chief, he began promoting economic development as a way to create jobs in his community. In 2008, Chief Barlow developed a substantial oyster business, which resulted in 10 seasonal jobs. In addition to his aquaculture work, he has helped develop a community wind energy project, infrastructure to protect his community from sudden rises in sea level, and has implemented important structural changes on Indian Island, including housing renovations and improved road conditions. Chief Barlow oversees all band operations and has a lead portfolio over the fishery. He was elected by acclamation several times in the past 9 years of his tenure and serves actively with the Mi'kmaq de Bludahan Incorporated, with New Brunswick Mi'kmaq Chiefs, and North Shore Mi'kmaq District Council. As well, Chief Barlow is an active board member with the Olnueg Development Group Incorporated and Olnuegaweg Lending Board. Chief Barlow understands the history and culture of the Mi'kmaq people and the importance of keeping the traditions alive and presenting the Mi'kmaq language. Chief Barlow continues to build positive relationships with other Indigenous communities while also building cooperation between the Native and non-Native communities living in New Brunswick. Kenneth Barlow is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for his progressive work in the economic development of Indian Island First Nation and for his passion and commitment to keeping the Mi'kmaq language and traditions alive in this community. I now call upon John P. Berry to come forward to be invested with the Order of New Brunswick. John Berry's extraordinary legal career is driven by an enlightened vision of what a profession should be, and he is often described as a dean of New Brunswick's legal profession. His belief in and support of how members of professions could and should positively promote and protect the common good has influenced him throughout his distinguished career. This same desire to protect the overall health and wellness of his community led to more than 50 years of provincial and national volunteerism, which has positively impacted a diverse array of healthcare, educational, and social organizations, not only in his local St. John community, but also provincially and nationally. Mr. Barry has conducted a diverse and large legal practice, arguing passionately and successfully at every level of the court system. He is recognized for his strong leadership, high standards of legal care, integrity, generosity, and willingness to help others. Determined to give back, Mr. Barry has mentored articling students and young lawyers while devoting extraordinary amounts of time volunteering with groups aligned with his views on the impact of education and health on a community's overall wellness. Admitted to the New Brunswick Bar in 1966 and appointed Queen's Counsel in 1977, Mr. Barry was recognized for both his community contributions and legal competence in 2000 when he was invited to become a Fellow of the prestigious American College of Trial Lawyers, and in 2003 when he was honored with the Queen Elizabeth II Golden Jubilee Medal. Mr. Barry's contribution to the province, both in his professional life and through his volunteerism with organizations such as the Kidney Foundation, Lung Association, Red Cross, and Community Living, will continue to have an irrevocable impact on families across New Brunswick and Canada. John P. Barry is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for his dedicated, visionary leadership and competence within his profession, and for the positive impact and clear and lasting impression he has made on the wider community through many years of volunteerism within healthcare, educational, and social organizations across the province. I now call upon Judith Chernin-Budovich to come forward to be invested with the Order of New Brunswick. Judith Chernin-Budovich is regarded for her passion, integrity, and work ethic in the areas of arts, culture, and education. Ms. Budovich earned a Bachelor of Arts from Dalhousie University and a Bachelor's of Education and Laws from the University of New Brunswick. She taught as a middle school teacher before completing law school and practicing in the public sector. Ms. Budovich's dedication to her community through voluntary service is commendable. She has contributed time to many organizations, including the Beaverbrook Art Gallery, where she played a pivotal role in the gallery's successful defense against the ownership claim by the Beaverbrook Foundation. She has also served voluntary roles with the University of New Brunswick's Associated Alumni Council, the Board of Governors for both Mount St. Vincent University and the University of New Brunswick, the Board of Directors for the Chalmers Regional Hospital Foundation, the Board of Jewish Canadian Congress, and the United Israel Appeal of Canada. Ms. Budovich was the recipient of the Lescarbot Award from the Government of Canada for her contributions to the cultural community, the Alumni Award of Excellence from the University of New Brunswick, the Distinguished Citizens Award from the City of Fredericton, and the Queen's Golden Jubilee Medal. In 2000, she was appointed a Queen's Counsel, and in 2008, a member of the Order of Canada. Judith Chernin-Budovich is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for her unwavering an enthusiastic commitment to the advancement of the arts, culture, and education in her province.
J'inviterai maintenant M. Phil Comeau à venir recevoir l'insigne de l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick. Phil Comeau est un Acadien qui s'est illustré comme cinéaste et auteur, comptant plus d'une centaine de films et émissions de télévision à son actif. Il a filmé ses œuvres dans plus de 23 pays et a reçu plus de 40 prix au Canada, aux États-Unis, en France, en Belgique et en Italie. De plus, M. Comeau a été en lice pour les prix Gémeaux, Gemini, Génie, Éloise, ainsi que pour le prix de guide canadien des réalisateurs. Il a déménagé à Moncton en 1974 et a commencé à étudier à l'art dramatique à l'Université de Moncton. En 1976, il a commencé à réaliser ses premiers films professionnels avec le studio de Moncton de l'Office national du film. Parmi ses succès cinématographiques, mentionnons le premier long-métrage acadien, Le secret de Jérôme, qui a été sélectionné récemment comme classique de cinéma canadien. M. Comeau a aussi réalisé le premier film acadien pour enfants, Le tapis de Grand Pré, et la première comédie acadienne, La Gossipieuse. Gossipeuse. Pardon. Son récent film « Ron Turcotte, jockey légendaire » lui a permis de remporter le prix du meilleur film lors du Festival international de films de sport de Palerme en Italie. Il a aussi réalisé de nombreuses séries acadiennes, dont La Sagouine qui est devenue un DVD à succès au Canada. Il a filmé plusieurs séries populaires, dont Emily of New Moon, Lassie, Pit Pony, Risk Takers, Mayday et sa série québécoise Tribu.com. Il a reçu de nombreux honneurs pour son travail, dont le titre de Chevalier de l'Ordre des Arts et des Lettres de la France, et a été admis au sein de l'Ordre du Canada, l'Ordre des francophones d'Amérique et de l'Ordre de Pléiade. Il a aussi reçu le prix Acadie-Québec et le prix France-Acadie. L'Université de Moncton lui a décerné un doctorat honorifique pour souligner sa contribution à l'industrie du film et de la télévision, ainsi que son soutien à la promotion nationale et internationale du cinéma acadien. Phil Comeau reçoit l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick pour le dévouement avec lequel il présente la richesse et le dynamisme de la culture acadienne et de la culture francophone dans des dizaines de ses films. J'inviterai maintenant M. Raphaël Moore à s'avancer. M. Moore recevra au nom de son grand-père, feu Gérard Friolet. Défunt Gérard Friolet est reconnu comme l'un des pionniers de la construction navale moderne. M. Friolet a appris le métier de son père, qui a aussi excellé dans la construction navale. Il a construit son premier bateau à l'âge de 20 ans. À 28 ans, il avait déjà bâti un certain nombre de bateaux de pêche, notamment les palangriers et les chalutiers. Il s'est taillé une place dans l'histoire lorsqu'il a construit les 2 premiers chalutiers commandés par le gouvernement du Nouveau-Brunswick. Le gouvernement a commandé la construction du Gloucester I et du Gloucester II afin de relancer le secteur des pêches dans la province. Ces chalutiers sont devenus célèbres et à peu près 40 ont été construits. Le succès qu'a connu M. Friolet dans la construction navale au Nouveau-Brunswick a incité le gouvernement du Québec à s'adresser à lui pour la construction de bateaux pour le Québec. M. Friolet a donc participé à la construction de 17 bateaux dans un chantier près de Gaspé. Après avoir travaillé au Québec, il a poursuivi sa carrière dans la construction navale et la réparation navale à Bord-Caraquet, où quelques 200 bateaux ont été mis à l'eau à partir du chantier naval. En 1975, le village historique de King's Landing a retenu les services de M. Friolet pour construire, en employant des méthodes traditionnelles, une réplique de la goélette agrément en côte-boat de 1837, le Brunswick Lion, qui parcourait la rivière Saint-Jean pour transporter du freight, en particulier du bois d'œuvre. En plus de ses contributions à la construction navale, M. Friolet a servi le village de Bord-Caraquet comme conseiller municipal pendant 9 ans. Pour souligner ses réalisations dans le secteur de la construction navale, son nom a été donné à la rue menant au centre naval du Nouveau-Brunswick. Cette rue s'appelle désormais rue Gérard Friolet. Gérard Friolet reçoit l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick à titre posthume pour son rôle primordial dans la promotion du secteur moderne de la construction navale et des pêches du Nouveau-Brunswick.
I would now ask that Ms. Jane Fullerton, CEO of the New Brunswick Museum, come forward. Ms. Fullerton will receive on behalf of the late Abraham Gesner. The late Dr. Abraham Gesner was renowned for his pioneering work as a geologist in New Brunswick. Born in Cornwallis Township, Nova Scotia in 1797, Dr. Gesner moved to St. John in 1838, where he was appointed the first government geologist in a British colony. For 5 years, he traveled New Brunswick, mapping the geology and documenting the province's mineral wealth. Dr. Gesner developed a collection of rocks, minerals, and fossils that became one of the first public museums in Canada, which is now known as the New Brunswick Museum in St. John. His specimen collection is one of the oldest extant geological collections in Canada. He was responsible for discovering the first fish fossils at the Miigwasha UNESCO World Heritage Site in Gaspé, Quebec. He may be best known for his work to develop a process for the distillation of kerosene, work he began while living in the Maritimes. He used bitumen named albertite after Albert County in his early experiments. Albertite comes from the same rocks still explored in New Brunswick for their oil and gas. Dr. Gesner is considered a founder of the modern petroleum industry and recognized by the Canadian Petroleum Hall of Fame. For this discovery, he was credited with saving the whales, as the development of kerosene meant the end of whale oil as a source of energy. The Atlantic Geoscience Society recognizes his contributions through the awarding of the Gesner Medal, the Distinguished Scientist Award of the Society. In 2000, Canada Post honored Dr. Gesner with a postage stamp as part of its Millennium Collection. Dr. Abraham Gesner is posthumously being awarded the Order of New Brunswick for his advancements in the study of geology in the province and for his revolutionary contributions to the global petroleum industry. I now call upon Ms. Nancy Hartling to come forward to be invested with the Order of New Brunswick. Nancy Hartling was the founder and executive director for Support to Single Parents, or SPPI, for its entire 34 years, tirelessly serving families within the greater Moncton area. While working for another nonprofit organization, Ms. Hartling recognized that there were no real supports in place for single parents. In 1982, she founded SPPI to offer relevant, life-changing programs to single parents. Her organization was the first to include single-parent men as clients. In her work, Ms. Hartling met clients affected by domestic violence and poverty. This led her to mobilize women in New Brunswick to participate in the World March of Women in 2000. She brought a petition to Fredericton asking for the elimination of poverty and violence, locally and internationally. Ms. Hartling traveled with the New Brunswick women via bus to Montreal, Ottawa, and New York City to meet with other women to promote these issues. As a result of the petition, she was asked to co-chair the New Brunswick Ministers' Working Group on Violence Against Women. She also co-chaired the December 6 Committee from 1995 to 2001 and served on the board of the Muriel McQueen Ferguson Centre for Family Violence Research. Ms. Hartling spearheaded a community development project using an anti-poverty approach to empower low-income women to gain skills to develop and operate small cooperative business enterprises or create other employment opportunities to become financially independent. For her work, Ms. Hartling has been recognized with the Leadership Award from the Atlantic Center of Excellence for Women's Health, the YWCA Moncton's Women of Distinction Award, and the Governor General Award in the commemoration of the Persons Case. Nancy Hartling is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for her leadership role in advancing the social and economic rights and opportunities for women in her community and across the province.
J'inviterai M. Jean-Guy Rioux à venir recevoir l'insigne de l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick. Jean-Guy Rioux détient une maîtrise SR, mention psychologie éducationnelle de l'Université de Moncton. Enseignant de carrière, il a agi pendant 5 ans comme coopérant en Afrique pour le compte de l'Agence canadienne du développement international. Il a également occupé diverses fonctions administratives à l'Université de Moncton, campus de Shippagan, notamment comme vice-recteur de 1979 à 1990, ainsi que comme directeur administratif et fondateur du Centre de recherche et de développement des produits marins et secrétaire général et trésorier intérimaire à l'Association canadienne d'éducation de langue française, ACELF. Sa contribution s'étend également au secteur bénévole, conseiller municipal et maire adjoint de la ville de Shippagan, président général de l'ACELF, président du Centre de recherche et de développement de la Tourbe Incorporée, président de la Société des Acadiens et Acadiennes du Nouveau-Brunswick, vice-président et président de la Fédération des communautés francophones et acadiennes du Canada, chancelier de la compagnie Sans associés francophones et président fondateur du comité de jumelage Shippagan-Loudon en France, entre autres. Il a présidé le comité organisateur Congrès mondial acadien de 2005 à la tenue du congrès en 2009. De juillet 2012 à juin 2016, il occupe le poste de président de conseil d'éducation du district scolaire francophone Nord-Est. Ses engagements au sein de la francophonie ont d'ailleurs été reconnus à maintes reprises, notamment par la ville de Shippagan, par l'Association des enseignantes et des enseignants francophones du Nouveau-Brunswick, par la CELF, par la Compagnie des sans-associés francophones, par le Conseil supérieur de la langue française du Québec, par le gouvernement français, par le ministre de l'Éducation nationale de France, par la Renaissance française, par l'Ordre de la Pléiade et par l'Université de Moncton, qui lui a décerné un doctorat honorifique en sciences sociales. En 2011, le gouvernement canadien lui décernait le titre de membre de l'Ordre du Canada. Jean-Guy Rioux reçoit l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick pour sa passion et son dévouement à promouvoir l'éducation francophone dans sa province et son pays.
The following two individuals were unable to attend the investiture ceremony today and will also be receiving the order at a later date. Ms. Deborah Lyons from Miramichi is the Canadian ambassador to Israel. Ms. Lyons is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for her extraordinary foreign affairs service and for her courage and determination in making a difference in the lives of women and children in some of the world's most oppressive and dangerous countries. Ms. Lyons sends her regrets for not being able to participate here today as she is hosting His Excellency, the Right Honourable David Johnston, Governor-General of Canada. Dr. Sheldon H. Rubin, a retired hematologist and oncologist from Moncton, contributed to the treatment and healing of thousands of cancer patients in the province and across the region during his career. Dr. Rubin is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for his compassion, high quality of patient care, and for his tremendous contributions to cancer prevention and treatment. Dr. Rubin sends his regrets for not being able to be here with us today. I will now invite Honourable Brian Gallant, Premier of New Brunswick, to speak. J'invite l'Honorable Brian Gallant, Premier ministre du Nouveau-Brunswick, à prendre la parole.
Here in New Brunswick, we are fortunate to be home to many individuals who give selflessly to themselves to make a real difference in the lives of their fellow women and men. And certainly those who are being honored today are great examples of this. Merci beaucoup, Madame la Lieutenant-Gouverneure, à vous et votre époux, non seulement pour nous inviter dans votre belle maison aujourd'hui, mais aussi pour le petit dîner que nous avons eu hier avec les récipiendaires. I have to say that every time I come here, I'm obviously very impressed with the beauty and of course, the welcomeness of of her honor and his honor. I have to tell you the story, though. When I came here after being sworn in as Premier, I was here with my family, who a lot of them live in Fredericton, my mother's family, the Schultons. And they were asking me all about the transition, and they were asking me where I was going to stay, and I was telling them I was looking for an apartment here in Fredericton. And then once they came to the reception after the swearing in here at this beautiful house, one of my uncles offered up and said, well, I don't understand why you can't just have a room here. Alors, j'attends encore pour l'invitation, Madame la lieutenant-gouverneur, mais vous êtes quand même bien gentil d'avoir la cérémonie ici. Chief Justice Judy, the clerk of the Civil Service of the Government of New Brunswick, the whole selection committee, thank you for being here. Je suis certain pour le comité, c'est beaucoup de travail. Vous recevez sans doute des centaines d'applications des Néo-Brunswickoises et Néo-Brunswickois qui font des très belles choses. I know it's a lot of hard work for the committee to really pick the ones that will be honored, because there are so many New Brunswickers that are deserving, I'm sure. But you've done a great job this year, as you do every year, of really showcasing what we have to offer here in New Brunswick. Je vais prendre un moment pour remercier mes collègues de l'Assemblée législative qui sont avec nous. Alors, Ed Doherty, John Ames, Wilfred Roussel, Cathy Rogers, David Kuhn, Lisa Harris, Serge Roussel et Bertrand Leblanc. Je vous remercie énormément pour votre présence. Je sais que vous connaissez sans doute des personnes qui se font honorer aujourd'hui, et c'est des personnes qui proviennent probablement de vos circonscriptions. Alors, si ça ne vous dérange pas de peut-être donner une petite main d'applaudissement pour les députés. I, too, want to take a moment to remember Dr. Daniel O'Brien. Not only is this someone who has done a lot in the community, a lot in the province, someone who worked tirelessly for St. Thomas University in post-secondary education, of course, a recipient of the Order of New Brunswick as well, and a recipient of the Order of Canada, so he is certainly missed today. And I also want to specifically thank all the family and friends that are here. If there's one thing I've learned in my short time as Premier, it's that you're not able to try to make a difference like the individuals who are being honored today if you don't have the support of your friends and your family. It really is a team effort, so I want to thank every single one of you for whatever it is you have done throughout the years to allow these amazing New Brunswickers to do what they've done. So please give yourselves a round of applause. Les récipiendaires exceptionnels de cette année sont accueillis dans le club Select de l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick en raison de leurs nombreuses réalisations et de leurs innombrables contributions au tissu économique, culturel et social de notre province. Les personnes à qui nous rendons hommage cette année viennent de toutes les régions de la province et d'horizons divers. Nous sommes vraiment privilégiés de compter parmi nous des personnes altruistes comme vous, qui contribuent plus que leur juste part pour donner en retour à leur collectivité, et nous sommes fiers de reconnaître vos réalisations en vous remettant la plus haute distinction honorifique de la province, l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick. Each of these remarkable individuals has contributed through their professional and artistic accomplishments, volunteer commitments, and personal involvement to making New Brunswick a better place to call home. As appointees to the Order of New Brunswick, these individuals represent exactly what New Brunswick has to offer the world. These are people that have contributed in different ways and for many years to making New Brunswick the best place it can possibly be. Aujourd'hui, nous reconnaissons et célébrons publiquement ces personnes qui illustrent parfaitement ce qui fait du Nouveau-Brunswick le meilleur endroit où vivre, travailler et élever une famille. Chief Barlow, thank you very much for everything that you have done to advance First Nations people in the province and across the country. And I very much appreciated your points yesterday that you were making over lunch on how we can work together to advance and the quality of life for First Nations here in New Brunswick. To John Barry, thank you very much for everything that you've done in the practice of law. It's not every day that I'll admit that I'm a lawyer, but today you're a shining example. So I would say that it's great to be here celebrating with you. I've had the honor, or some would say the difficulty of being on the other side of the table at one point with a lawyer I was helping out, and he very much is a very smart individual, a great lawyer, and of course someone that will respect everyone around him. I'm just happy that John didn't bring his whole family. John has a very large family, and if so, we would have had to rent the convention center. So it's great that not all of them are here. Judith Budovich, thank you so much for what you've done to advance the arts, culture, and of course, my number one priority, education. Phil Como, merci beaucoup pour tout ce que vous avez fait pour avancer la culture acadienne et la culture francophone et bien sûr de conter l'histoire de l'Acadie et le Nouveau-Brunswick à travers du monde. Thank you very much, of course, to Abraham Gesner for the innovation that he brought to geology here in the province a few decades ago. Merci beaucoup à Gérald Friolet pour tout ce qu'il a fait pour l'économie de la province et plus spécifiquement la péninsule acadienne. Thank you very much to Nancy Hartling. So a few things here. As the Minister responsible for Women's Affairs, thank you so much for what you have done to advance the status of women in the province. It really is great to see someone like yourself who has contributed to something that is so important be honored with the Order of New Brunswick. So what I love here is that she had a wonderful introduction of what she's accomplished, but you didn't even have to put senator on the list for her to receive the Order of New Brunswick. So if some of you are wondering, it is her that has been recently appointed senator. She's had a big couple weeks, eh? I have no doubt that you're going to do great things in Ottawa. You're going to do great things for New Brunswick, and I'm certain that you're going to do great things to advance the status of women across the country. So we're very happy to have you as a senator. I have to say, though, my only piece of advice is when you're going to get sworn in, you're going to get a bunch of congratulations, and then you're going to get sworn in, and every day after that, you get sworn at. But it's other than that, you'll see it's very fulfilling. To Deborah Lyons, who unfortunately, for obvious good reasons, wasn't able to join us, a big congratulations and thank you for not only representing our country, our province, but the great people of the Miramichi all around the world, and as you would have heard in the introduction, often in very difficult circumstances. To Sheldon Rubin, thank you so much for advancing healthcare, which is one of the most important social programs, if not the most important social program that government can offer to its people. He's done some phenomenal things and it is very much appreciated. Et bien sûr, à M. Jean-Guy Rioux, merci tellement pour tout ce que vous avez fait. C'est difficile de vraiment spécifier une chose que vous avez fait pour avancer la province, mais que ce soit pour l'éducation postsecondaire, la francophonie, l'Université de Moncton, la péninsule acadienne, le nord de la province. Vous avez fait tellement et je suis vraiment honoré d'être ici pendant que vous vous faites honorer avec l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick. So I'd ask you to give all of these recipients another round of applause. I want to end this by saying a big thank you to the recipients. Of course, we're here to celebrate you, but we're also going to ask you to continue to do what you've been doing. Her Honor said it very well. You're being celebrated for everything that you've accomplished, but you all still have so much to offer. So on behalf of all New Brunswickers, thank you so much for everything you have done to advance the quality of life of New Brunswickers, and thank you for everything that you'll continue to do to make sure that New Brunswick's the best place to live, work, and play. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.